I just did collisions on and off. What? The condominium? Wait, I'm gonna do this. Is this hydrant really T-posing on me right now? Look at this hydrant.
Yeah, where's my farmer's only profile? No one gave me the password to it. How am I supposed to meet farm girls? Is this currently in this current form? Is this toast, or is this just bread? 4, 3, 2, 1. Wait, that's not. There it is.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the OPC Video Podcast. I'm your host, Drew Bajors, the social media director for OPC. We created this podcast to introduce you to successful gamers or content creators who have used various strategies to build personal brands and make profit with them. Please make sure to like and subscribe wherever you enjoy your live streams or podcasts. Today, we are joined by the Twitch partner streamer, TheHungerService. Thank you for joining us today.
Glad to be here. Thanks for having me, Drew.
It is truly an honor. And for those that may not know, what would most people recognize you for?
For the most part, I cook 5 days a week on Twitch, so I'm always making some sort of simple and delicious food. Sometimes either inspired by video games or anime, stuff like that. But I try to keep it simple so that people can learn how to cook. And
it's really like it's beautiful, the different recipes and the dishes that you create. I don't know, for anybody who's listening to the podcast, even like while you're listening, if you have the ability to pull up the Instagram that TheHungerService has, oh my gosh, some of those dishes are beautiful. Everything, it's amazing. Like you have everything from sloppy joes to meatballs to like perfect like noodle dishes and sushi rolls and like things I would have never thought could be like made as beautiful as like, oh.
Thanks. I'm a photographer outside of Twitch too, so I think that helps a little bit.
Everything just looks so absolutely appetizing. It's incredible. So just like, I don't know, we can take a step back a little bit. So when and how did you start cooking?
So actually that's a long story too. So I started, I got to college. I didn't know how to cook anything, right? I was all right. Well, like I know how to make eggs. I know how to make fried rice. That's cool. I ended up needing a job, so I ended up working as a delivery driver for a restaurant, right? And then they were asking me like, hey, did you want to like move up and like learn some new things? I'm like, hey, I would really love to learn how to make sushi and stuff and like work in the kitchen. And then that's how I kind of like fell into it, because I already knew I loved food. I didn't realize I was going to love cooking it as much. So that's how I kind of fell into it. And it was like 10 years later, I was still doing it. I was like, oh, well, this is, I guess I actually did dig, like making food. I love Asian food in general, and I love that's part of the process.
It's incredible. See, I would have thought that maybe you came from like a family that cooked these delicious meals or anything like that, but to learn on the job and on your feet while you're doing it is pretty fantastic.
Well, I mean, my mom always cooked. She was like every day dinner, like not like something you would throw in the oven and just like something frozen you throw in the oven and take out and that'd be it. No, she like actually made like legit Filipino food every day. So like if that was almost like an inspiration for me to learn how to cook on my own and be like self-sufficient that way, yeah, I mean like that's probably where it probably stems from, honestly.
Oh, definitely. I mean, so for those who may not know, my mother is also Puerto Rican and Filipino, so growing up with like home cooked Filipino food is absolutely amazing. Yeah, a lot of people
Right?
can't see it. So my dad, he's very, like German, Irish, and then my mother's Puerto Rican and Filipino. So my mom did all the cooking. It was awesome. I love growing up with that. But I can't really cook, maybe I can I mean, it's pretty sad.
Can't really cook yet. Yet. Right?
Yet.
She's gotta be like, hey, mom, teach me how to make something.
Exactly. So taking everything from where you learned on the job and where you were interested in, learning how to make more things and be more self-sufficient, how did this all turn into, online content creation and building a stream out of it?
So, a few years ago, actually, I quit being a sushi chef because I was getting more into my photography career. I was doing more weddings and like graduation stuff. I photograph cosplay from time to time too.
Mm-hmm.
And in that time frame, as a freelancer, I was like, oh man, like I need to be cooking at home because I can't be eating out every day. So I was just learning how to make all sorts of things. And at some point, my girlfriend at the time was like, hey, she was gonna start streaming, and a month later she's like, hey, you should try this. And she was doing photography. I mean, she still does photography on stream, but I didn't want to do photography as well, so I was like, I'm gonna start streaming on Twitch, but I'll start doing food instead because I'm already in the kitchen almost every day making food. I may as well like throw a camera up and a computer in here and see where it goes. And 2.5 years later, I'm still here. So I guess it's going all right.
It's incredible. And at what point, when you set up the camera and you started streaming, at what point did you realize that possibly this could replace more traditional job or income?
Oh man, like I feel like for the first first month or two, it was just like very much like, I'm just gonna do this, and if something good comes out of it, then fantastic. And only when I started seeing like people come back, like feel like I had some sort of traction, that I was like, oh wow, this might actually be something that I can do like more intensely than like, because like photography, like the thing about being a photographer is like, I don't have typical work hours. So it's kind of like, when I'm busy, I'm busy. And when it's slow, I'm either at home marketing my photography career, or I'm just hanging out. So I mean, it worked out. And when I started feeling that traction, I was like, oh well, this might actually work. And I feel like that just gave me more motivation to be like, keep doing it again and again and again. I hate to use the word, it's the grind, but it was definitely a grind to start.
Definitely when you started out. And I mean, just out of sheer curiosity, what was it like streaming for your first time? Did you play a game, or did you set up a camera and you were in the kitchen and you were cooking?
I had very little streaming experience before that. I have another Twitch account where I streamed Destiny 2 for a little bit. And it was just like I didn't know what I was doing. I just had a camera on my face. I was just playing the game. Wasn't really talking, but like when I started in the kitchen, I was like, well, I have something to talk about because I had to explain what I'm doing. So I was just constantly just saying. It was just really odd initially because I'm like, hey, I normally do this in I'm completely quiet when I'm doing this normally, but now I'm going to be talking this entire time. So yeah, it was definitely a different experience.
That's really cool. And then so I was gonna ask, whether you found it easier to play video games on the stream, or whether you found it easier to cook, because I do see you dabble in a little bit of both. Like yes. I know you do play games. Like I think you were playing golf with friends the other day with
yesterday actually.
Yeah. And it's really nice that you're able to have this community of both playing games and cooking. What do you find easier? Is it easier for you to just set up a gaming stream, or is it easier for you to be cooking and you're comfortable?
I feel like technically it's easier to set up a gaming stream, but it's like mentally harder to I don't know, for me, like maybe I'm just not as used to it, but like in the kitchen it's very easy for me to talk and interact with my audience, because I'm like, I can leave something sitting on a pan for a couple minutes to just hang out and chat. But like when a game's going on, I'm just like focused in on it. I'm like, okay, well, this is what's happening, but yeah, from a technical standpoint, even like the kitchen is a whole other beast. But like from a streaming standpoint, that is sitting here in my room playing games. It's a little harder to be like more interactive.
I could definitely see that, and it's really cool to see that you've mastered your craft so well that you're so comfortable and able to talk, without burning everything that's in the pan.
It wasn't always like that. It wasn't always like that. It was definitely like me staring at it like, God, I hope I don't mess this up in front of all these people watching me right now.
Has that ever happened before? Have you ever, had an idea of a dish in your mind and you either dropped something or something got burned terribly?
I feel like I've overcooked things before. Like this was early on. I've overcooked things before. I've burnt my hand on stream.
Oh, wow.
Which was yeah, it was really dumb. So I was making like a frittata or something. And if you don't know what frittata is, it's pretty much like a crustless quiche that you put into a pan, you mix it, and you throw it into the oven for like 15 minutes. And you take it out and you scoop it out of your pan. I had put that hot pan onto a burner in front of me, and I wanted room for me to put the frittata down on a plate. I was pushing the burner away from me, and the pan started sliding. And my initial reaction is, "Oh, I have to catch this pan." So like, went to grab the pan, heard the sizzle, moved the pan into place, and then go, "I burnt my hand. This is gonna hurt. Really, this is gonna hurt a lot, guys." I just walked over this thing, like kept it under cool water. But yeah, I mean, like I've had there have been some blunders, but they've been few and far between thus far. So
well, the question was the frittata okay?
Oh, the frittata was fantastic.
Frittata was fine. Just your hand was a little burnt.
Yeah, it was just a little, like food was good, hand was burnt. It's okay. I'm okay.
That's amazing. I'm sorry. I hope your hand is like healed.
Oh no, it's
perfectly.
fine. It's fine now. But like, man, that like when it happened, it was like, it's like one of those things. I'm like, I know people are watching me do this. I'm just like, play it off. It's okay. Your hand's fine. Deal with it after stream.
Here you go. So for all the people watching, the audience that you've built up with all these cooking streams, would you say they generally impact what you cook? Do they ever recommend dishes, or are all the recipes and everything you put together typically, think about it before stream?
There's a schedule usually, but like I normally like to ask my community, hey, like, is there something that you'd want to see me make? Because I'm always looking to get, like other dishes into my repertoire and like learn new things, because like I feel like food is an experience that can be shared across cultures, and I feel like you can learn a lot by cooking other people's food and stuff, and not only from a culinary standpoint, but from like a personal standpoint. So yeah, I mean, I'll take a lot of recommendations, and then if there's dishes that I've made before, I usually like if I remake a dish, it's usually refining it so I can come up with a official HungerService recipe. So
there you go. And it's really cool. For a lot of people who don't know, who are probably listening, the HungerService actually has a website where you can go and check out. It looks like it's updated basically on a monthly basis of like a really amazing, easy recipe to follow, a nice picture of what's going on. It's basically like you took the Food Network and turned it into your own channel, and it's really chill and engaging, and it's really amazing to see it, on the platform.
Thanks, man. I actually just revamped too, so I'm still working on getting. I had a whole slew of recipes on there that I had to like, and I'm not slowly re-uploading into it. So hopefully by the time people start seeing this, they'll be like, oh, there'll be more than a few recipes on here. So
definitely, and hopefully, if I ever learn how to cook all of those recipes, and maybe I won't just be eating, eggs or, I mean, currently,
ramen, or
Now, this is an off-topic question. So, I was sent about 120 corn dogs, just from the community. Okay. So, I was just curious, talking to an established chef and established Twitch streamer who streams all these amazing creations.
Uh-huh.
What would be the best way that you think could make a corn dog taste better after the 60th corn dog?
So you still have like how many?
I probably
you
have
still
about 100 left.
100 corn dogs.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Have you tried like what have you done thus far to the corn dogs? Like
Um,
have you like put different toppings on them yet? Have you like dunked them in
Dunked them
have
in
you,
marinara sauce, Alfredo sauce, some with
uh
mustard, some with like so many corn dogs, and there's so many different ways to eat. I've wrapped them in like tortilla with like cheese. I've put egg on it. Like it's silly, absolutely silly. But you know, those corn dogs, there's a lot of them.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I would just start going down the list, just walk down the condiment aisle and in in the grocery store and just start pulling random things, or you could like, have you been just like baking them? Because I would try like maybe like
Baking,
breading them
frying,
further,
microwaving.
deep fry. Yeah, just going down the list of things that you could possibly do to a corn dog. Yeah, I'm
It's
sorry.
terrible.
It's a
Yeah.
corn dog. A corn dog is a corn dog. It just has a very distinct
Yep.
flavor. And you're just like,
You can't really get past it. You'll be like, oh, everything else is amazing, and then it's, man, I've had my 20th corn dog.
I mean, can I ask what the story is behind the 120 corn dogs?
So I was traveling a lot for work. So
Uh-huh.
I told everybody, I was like, hey, I haven't gone grocery shopping in a while. And then somebody was like, well, fine. Are you ordering food every day? And I was like, yeah, because I don't want to cook because it's all going to go bad by the time I take my next trip. And then somebody was like, how about you just get a bunch of frozen food? And the next person in chat was like, how about we just send you corn dogs? And they all pulled together and they all collectively sent like a bunch of corn dogs. So I got back from QuakeCon and there was like a refrigerated box that my roommates had to like take apart and bring in. And now every time I open my freezer, probably 1 or 2 corn dogs fall out. It's like a full
corn
freezer.
dog dispenser.
Yeah, it's terrible. So I guess I need to just go down the condiment aisle and just like see what.
I mean, or you throw a party and you're just like, I got corn dogs, guys. You guys hungry? Like,
Oh, that's fun. So basically, I'm sorry. I took everything on a tangent. I apologize.
cool.
I just thought it was a fun question to ask. So I know that you've built this community on Twitch, and I noticed on Twitter you used a hashtag called "We Are Super Rare." Could you talk about that a little bit?
Okay, so We Are Super Rare is actually my stream team. That
Okay.
it's not my stream team, but like Captain Trigger Spice, she's a creative slash gamer. She's a graphic designer. She's an amazing person, and we have this like really positive group of streamers who do both creative and gaming on Twitch. So that's We Are Super Rare because you know we're like that we're just a positive group of streamers that like hang out with each other and doing cool things.
And that's an awesome, hashtag to put it because that is kind of super rare on Twitch where, you could have a lot of stimming toxicity in the communities, but you build a really, safe and creative space for people to just, hang out and chill, which is really nice.
Yeah, I mean, like I want the Hunger Service to feel like hanging out in the kitchen, like because like no one wants to fight over food, really. Like
No, definitely not.
I feel like everyone calms down when everyone gets like a bite to eat, and all right, we can chill here.
So, with your stream and the food that you cook, do you ever feel like you leave people feeling hangry? Is the word, where you're angry and you're hungry and you're just, I know that your goal is to make people hungry at the end of the stream, but you ever feel like you make people
hangry? The
hangry?
name, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like I feel like that. I mean, I feel like it could happen. I do tell people they have to pregame if they want to watch stream. But like I kind of hope it also inspires people to do it on their own because it's not. I try not to do like super complicated recipes, or make it like super convoluted either, so that people can do this at home. I don't try to like use like super fancy equipment that's like $1,000 to buy to make the food that I'm making in the kitchen because not everyone's going to start at that level.
Yeah.
And I want people to learn how to cook because uh I feel like it's kind of like a thing that people are losing. Like people are always, it's so easy to go out and eat like every day, and I'm just like, hey man, you could really do this at home if you really wanted to. Give it a little try.
Without a doubt. And do you feel like you've impressioned people to start cooking on their own? Like, have you ever gone through your Discord and, seen somebody, take a shot at something you cooked on stream before?
Yes, and it's amazing. It feels great because like, they'll be like, hey, hey Ellie, I started cooking again, and I've been cooking every day for the past week. I'm getting healthier. Like, it's a good feeling, and it's nice to see that, like that my cooking on Twitch is inspiring people to do it on their own.
It is really cool, and it's really cool to see, inspiration that other streamers can take from it. Like, we have a friend, another OPC partner, Zinigami, and you guys do streams together sometimes where you're cooking, and it's really cool just to be able to see, sometimes how beautiful your food is, and then other people taking like a shot at it or like working together to create just food for their families or themselves. It's really, really cool.
Yeah, we have to do that again. Like, it's been a bit of time for me and Z, but I do want to do that more often. Not just with Z, but with I've had some other people approach me and be like, hey, can we do like I don't know if you ever seen the back-to-back challenge with Gordon Ramsay where he's facing one way and he's trying to tell a guy behind him how to make something.
I would love to see it. I have not seen it. That sounds hilarious.
It is hilarious, and I like. Hopefully, I mean, I feel like that's kind of what happens when we're squad streaming cooking, because you're like, I can't see what they're doing, so they're messing up. Like,
oh man. So with all these things that you've put together on stream, with the recipes, the dishes, treats, what would you say is your favorite?
Oh man, don't put this on my favorite
We're
dish.
putting it.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I think more often than not, I've made a lot of Korean fried chicken, mainly because it's so silly simple and it's so tasty. Other than that, oh my gosh, I mean, my specialties in like Filipino and Japanese food, so like anything in that range is probably something I love. Japanese curry. Oh God, I'm stressing out now, man. I'm just like, I don't know which one to pick.
What food's the best?
Like picking my favorite kid, like I don't know.
You're not allowed to, basically.
Right.
So, I mean, when you were a sushi chef for about 10 years, did you ever see anything kind of like developing into streaming this way, or was this ever anything on the horizon where where you started photography? Do you ever see yourself ending up to the point where you were streaming?
No, I mean, like it didn't really pop on my radar. I had been like watched some creative streams early on. It's funny because I was actually looking through some old Facebook posts because I had just recently deleted Facebook, and I found that I was watching like Kyle Landry piano on Twitch like in 2015. And I was like, oh, this is freaking awesome! Like people are doing creative stuff on Twitch. And I only saw it as like being a viewer because I was like, I don't think I don't think I'm like back then I was like, I don't think I'm a content creator per se. I'm just like watching people online, but kind of like stumbled into it. Never really thought like my skills from working as a sushi chef would like turn into something like this.
It's really cool. It's really cool. It's amazing what the internet's allowing us to do these days. And,
Right, exactly.
Just like, what's your opinion on the current state of streaming as a profession? I mean, we have we have Twitch, we have Mixer, we have YouTube. Why Twitch over creating sort of content on YouTube?
YouTube was at the point I got in, which was 2017. YouTube was very much like established ground. Like it had already been like people had already laid their their claim is like the freaking gold rush. You know, like this is my area, and there's so much content that flows through YouTube. And I was like, you know, like, and I didn't really care for editing videos either. So I was like, you know, like maybe I should just try streaming on Twitch and see how this goes, because I feel like I guess I'm an okay personality to talk to one on one and stuff. So, you know, just see how it goes. And I kind of felt like the interaction on Twitch felt more genuine than like through YouTube, because I feel like, oh man, I really hate recording myself in general. I'm just like, you know, like when you record yourself, you listen to it, you're just like, oh, I gotta do that again. No, I like once it's on Twitch, you're like, that's it. Like that's we'll go do it live, right? You know?
Yeah. You can, you know, try to play it off that you didn't really burn your hand so bad when you
Yeah,
had to move the
exactly.
potato pan. Exactly. Right. And you've spent a couple of years on Twitch. I believe you started in about 2017.
Yeah.
How do you think the platform has changed?
As far as like streaming, I know I missed your question about streaming as a profession, but like, and well, with Twitch now, it does feel like it's gone through a couple iterations, because they like took out things and they started doing new things, and then all of a sudden like Ninja blew up in the time frame I started streaming, and Fortnite and all, and like the huge growth of the platform. But from the creative side of Twitch, I feel like we've been kind of like almost slightly insulated from it. Like we still see growth and stuff, but it's not nearly the like explosive growth that the gaming side of Twitch has seen. But like we do get like trickle down, I guess, because people don't like. There's still people on Twitch that don't know that creative side, like art, food, crafting is a thing on Twitch, and every day someone will show up to stream and be like, holy crap, this is a thing on Twitch. I'm like, yeah, you know, like we've been cooking here for like 2.5 years. Where have you been? Right. So
exactly.
But yeah, I mean, it's still very brave new world for Twitch, and I'm just like really excited.
I do love that there's a lot more just live streaming in general.
Yeah.
I kind of wonder when, I mean, if you download Twitch as an application on, you know, from the iOS App Store, the tagline underneath it says Fortnite, PUBG, and gaming content. Do you feel like you might get a little bit more, you know, trickle down or less insulation if they change that tagline?
Yeah, I mean, I think I know a lot of people talk about like how Twitch isn't Twitch used to promote creative more readily a couple years ago than it does now, and I feel like it could use that help, but at the same time I feel like it's up to every creator, whatever,
that works.
creative creator to take that claim and be like, hey, you know, don't forget, Twitch doesn't just do gaming, and we exist here in this platform, and we're all pretty freaking awesome, so you should check us out. So yeah, I wouldn't leave it up to the platform to kind of drive our destiny. Leave it up to all of us creators to be like to dig that path, pretty much.
I couldn't say it any better myself. Basically, you know, content creators, your empire. You can like choose the destiny of how you run it, how you create it. The platform doesn't determine it; just gives you a space to do whatever, and you know, figure out your own growth. And knowing that, what advice can you give someone trying to become a content creator? I'm interested to see the side of someone who is a creative streamer and not just, you know, playing games all day.
Can you repeat the question one more time?
What advice could you give to someone also trying to be a content creator, whether it be gaming or whether it be running their own cooking stream or bringing a camera along while they do photography, anything?
Advice for new content creators. Because constant criticism of yourself, not in the constructive criticism of yourself. Always looking back to what you've done and seeing how you can improve it like 1% every time. Because a lot of people get bogged down in like what can I get to make my stream better, and what can I get to make my content better. But they don't focus on like what little things I can change. Like how can I improve my audio just a little bit more? How can I improve this camera angle a bit more? How can I improve my speech just a little bit more every stream I do? And then being consistent about it, because I feel like the biggest factor to growth is being present, and being present when people expect you to be present, because no one's going to find your content if you stream once a month but don't tell anyone when that time will be, or stream once a week and be like, it'll be sometime in the next 5 days, I don't know when I'm streaming. So like consistency, constant growth and improvement, and just enjoying what you like, enjoying what you do, because I feel like people will start on on a platform or just in content creation itself and be like kind of half in the door and half out the door, because they're like, oh, I want to do it, but like I'm not sure if I like this game or like what I'm doing. I just gotta do it because I want to see what happens. But if you really enjoy what you do, then I mean that will show in not only your content but like in your presence, and I think that's important.
Definitely. And I mean, it's amazing. You stick with a schedule. Typically you're live 5 p.m. every day, but I believe Wednesday and Sunday?
Yeah, I mean that the those days kind of change from time to time,
Mhm.
because my photography schedule does flip around from time to time. But for the most part, it's usually 5 days a week, and usually at 5 p.m. and on weekends at 2 p.m. So that Eastern. So
And you're eating amazing dinner 5 days a week, basically, it seems like.
it's funny because people will say, "Hey, you must eat fancy every day." I'm sitting there with like a peanut butter and granola sandwich. I'm like, "Yeah, I totally eat fancy every day."
There you go. So over the years of streaming on Twitch, and I mean you've certainly come a long way, and it's admirable to where you're at. Were there any points where things didn't exactly happen the way you had hoped? Do you have any hurdles or anything that kind of like that you had to overcome to get to where you're at now?
Man, I feel like there are like, I think in every creator's cycle you get this moment of, am I creating content, is my content getting stale? Like staring at that loaf of bread, I'm like, is that getting stale? Like is this getting stale? Like what do I need to change to improve? Like why aren't the people coming in, or why, like it's always something that every content creator dreads to think about. But and there are days where you're just like, I don't feel like streaming and stuff like that, because I don't feel like this is going to be good enough. But it's also pushing yourself through it, and I know that's like a kind of uh take care of yourself mentally, but there's some days that you're just like, you're feeling down, but you're like, this, it'll be okay. And I feel like that's probably the biggest hurdles that I have to hop over. Besides, like running my stream costs money every time because I have to buy ingredients every time I stream. So it's budgeting for me too. It's like, oh my gosh, like am I like, why I can't make beef Wellington 5 days a week, like
No.
so that would be the other hurdle for me too. It's like making sure I can afford all these ingredients getting for well.
And that's not something I think myself or a lot of people would consider when they're watching cooking streams. That when you're playing a game, you already bought the game. The only thing you have to buy is more skins, basically.
Yeah, and that's optional. Like when I stream, that's stuff I am actually using up and putting out, and yeah, I mean, like I get to eat at time, but like the thing is, like if I was cooking for myself, I would just cook one dish.
Yeah.
and like spread it out over a few days, right? So
that's actually amazing insight for anybody who wants to think about what you're doing. Is I mean, just starting out, just budget, because you might have enough, groceries for like 2 weeks, but you might have to budget for like 3 months to really get things going off the ground.
I mean, just speaking from like creative streamer standpoint, like traditional artists like have to buy material and canvases and paint and markers and stuff like that. That's all things you have to consider when you're getting into like creative side streaming. You're like, I need to have all this all my material before I start, or else what I'm gonna do on stream, just hang out, right?
That brings a whole new level of insight even to myself. And I mean, talking about equipment and things that you use to stream, what would you say is your favorite peripheral? Or it could be a fan or your stove. What's your favorite thing to use when you stream? Something you think you couldn't have made it to where you're at? Camera?
Oh my gosh. The my photography camera, it's a DSLR, it's a Canon 5D Mark III, and one of the big things that I do with it is I use it as a webcam on my stream to get like close-ups and stuff, and people like love the way it looks. It's just like such a high quality pixel dense camera that people love watching.
Looks really good.
Bubble.
So
Yeah.
nice.
Other than that, like there's a couple cooktops. Like people always ask me, why are you using a cooktop on your counter and not the stove behind you? I'm like, I don't want to look over my shoulder all the time trying to interact with chat when I'm cooking. So I bought I got a couple countertop cooktops so I can just stay facing the stream, which is felt like really important for interaction, being like present within the stream as well. So
And it feels and it looks a lot more personal. It's really nice that you're always engaging and you're not always constantly flipping around. And just with everything that it's brought you to, I know you go to a lot of different conventions.
I do.
Is there any other conventions or events that you're going to where people might be able to say hi or meet you?
I will definitely be at TwitchCon. I'm hoping to make it to PAX South next year. And I don't know if you've ever been to MagFest. MagFest is another convention that I'm planning on going to. That's out in DC.
I've never been to MagFest, but I will see you at TwitchCon and I will see you at PAX South. PAX South is one of my favorite events. Definitely. It's a little bit more close knit and it's not too overwhelming with
PAX. This past PAX East was my first PAX East.
It was mine too. It was fantastic.
I was like, oh my gosh, this place is huge. Yeah. It was amazing. I had such a great time at PAX East. I was like, oh. So
definitely. And then basically, if you could tell us where people listening to the podcast could find you, if you want to go ahead and shout out your stream or your website, we would love to hear where we can find you.
You can find me at TheHungerService on Instagram.com, TheHungerService, TheHungerService.com, and Twitter has a 16-letter limit or 15-letter limit, so I couldn't get the Hunger Service, so it's Hunger_Service on Twitter. Now, of course, on Twitch, twitch.tv/TheHungerService.
Amazing. And I promise anybody who stops by the stream, you will leave hungry. 100%. You will leave hungry. But amazing. Thank you so much for joining us on the Open Podcast. We truly appreciate you being here. So thank you.
It was my pleasure. I had a great time. Thank you.
Thank you.
What were you going to say?
I was just wondering if you wanted to leave us with anything for our listeners, anything that you maybe wanted to tack on.
I don't know what to say. Make sure you cook something nice for yourself because you deserve it.
That's absolutely perfect. You do. You do 100% deserve something. Thank you.